Hey everybody, got another hot one here in Georgia. I'm so ready for the fall. This humidity is just brutal. But I think everybody across the nation is experiencing it. But this week we're gonna rent a trencher and we are gonna trench from the barn to the shop, and we are gonna install electric in the ground, and we're gonna install water lines in the ground. And what that's going to enable us to do is come back at a later date and hook the water up. So we'll have water, fans, and lighting in the barn and in the shop. The temporary pole is only about 60 feet away from the barn, but I got to get the foundation in the ground first, which is the electric and the water. So I'm going to rent a trencher and we're going to get to trenching. This is the trencher that I rented, 36-inch blade, and it's got a platform back here. I'm not sure what the horsepower on this thing is, but track driven. It's pretty easy to operate. It's just engage the drive chain right here, left track, right track, and then your digging boom up and down, and your engine speed, and that's pretty much it. See, I've already trenched water all the way over to where the mule is there. What I'm going to do is put a frost-free faucet right here on the corner of the barn. This will be my wash rack area right here on the front of the barn. That right there will be my wash rack area. And then that frost-free faucet that's going right there will allow me to put a garden hose on there, and I can water everybody and take care of them. I don't physically need water in the barn per se, but you can see I trenched all the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another frost-free faucet right here in this bend, and I'll have a water trough right here. Tap it directly into the city water right here off of this frost-free faucet. Now what I'm going to do is trench from the windmill all the way down the driveway to water the trees on the driveway with the overflow of the windmill. You can see the windmill's turning, so it's pumping. But you see the overflow is just going out the front edge there. It's just going out into the pasture, and it just makes a mucky mess. So like I've told you previously, I'll put a drain hole in the top right there, go down into the ground, trench it all the way down the driveway, and the overflow will water the trees instead of just spilling out into the pasture. Got 1,000 foot of 1-inch PVC. They've already all got the bells on them, so they just slip into each other real nice. So that'll be pretty quick. I got 900 foot of 1/0 cable on a single spool, no splices. The power is going to come in right here on the side of this barn. It's going to go up to the peak there, and it will tie into this lift pole right here. Temporary pole will be gone, and I'll just have a cable spread from there over to the peak of the barn. And I've already trenched from here all the way out and all the way down and around and to the shop. It's a pretty long run. I was just going to trench, let the power company trench from here over to the barn and do it all underground, but since these power cables are already here and I can't get rid of them, I didn't figure a single cable going from there to there and then from there over to there was gonna be that bad of a deal. Plus it's, you know, the main part of the farm is over there and this is the property line over here, so it's kind of out of the way. But the main reason I'm doing it is because I want to be able to put a security light on top of that lift pole. By putting a security light up there in the winter when it gets dark at 4:30, it will light up this area right here that I'm hoping to use for a chicken coop area, and then this area over here for another pole barn. And not so much a security light, but it will just be a lighting for that area. I already have one LED light on this light pole. Those are the cables that go down over there to the woods. Give you an orientation of where we are. And this lights up this whole front area out here at night. And even though it's not over here, it still casts an illumination to where you can see it. If you're out here at night and you need to get into your truck, you can see to walk from there over to your truck. So it costs $7.35 a month for an LED light. And if I put another one on that pole back there, I'll be spending less than 15 bucks a month for lights that they maintained. So all the trenching's done now. Looks like a drunk sailor did it, but it's all right. So this will be all overflow from the windmill. And then that'll be city water over to the barn. And then on the other side of the barn, all the way around to the shop. This is how we're gonna lay out this wire. Took a piece of 2.5-inch conduit, ran it through the middle, put these stops out here on the forks, and then wrap that cable around it to keep it from hopping off. We're just gonna unroll it right next to the ditch and then just throw it into the ditch. We left enough right out here to start it where we can just run it up the side of the building into the box. What I'm doing is assembling the water line on the ground next to the trench. And then I'll just put it all in the trench at one time. If you try to do it a stick at a time, you're on your knees and down in the mud and gluing it in the ditch and everything else. It just works a lot better if you just glue it up. I've already put my T in anticipation of my farm faucet right here on the fence line. I just won't bury that. I'll just bury it to right here and to right there and leave that exposed so I can come back in and finish that. I will have to bend down into the ditch to get that, but that's minor. See, the whole water line is assembled. Now that everything's in the ground, I'm going to use this box blade and I'm just going to drag over the trench. And when the box fills up, it'll just fill the trench in. And then I'll drive over the trench with the front tire and compact it down. Should go down several inches, I'd imagine. And then I'll go back over it with the box blade again. And we should be good to go. So it's entirely too wet to do this. You can see it did it pretty good. I went ahead and drove over it one time with the front tire and compacted it down in there. But it did pretty good until the blade got completely full. And once it got completely full, the dirt was too wet and it wasn't rolling anymore, and all it did was just compact in the blade. So it's just too wet. We're not expecting any rain today or tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to be 95 degrees, I think, with the 100% heat index. So this ought to get real good and dry. I'll be able to come back and drag it in a couple of days. You can see where I trenched in there pretty good and compacted it. But it's doing a good job of dragging it in there. There's still a lot of dirt over here on the sides. I've got the blade too high, but I'll make a second pass and pull all of this into that ditch right there. Well, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done this week, but we'll get it finished up. I'll show you the finished product next week. And I'll also show you the electric fencing that's going to go around the barnyard. That's almost completed, but I needed to do the trenching first. So I'll show you all that next week. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate you guys following me. And we will see you next week. And as always, remember who you are. Be kind to those around you. Stand up for what you believe in. Have a good one.